What's going on, guys? Ball Mentality here. Let's jump into some SPY and ES technical analysis here. I'll take a look at the VIX and maybe a couple beta names just to give some reference and some context. So where we're sitting at right now on the SPY is we're looking at, we hit an all-time high, right? 48.08, rolled over. And today, a lot of people were looking for that bounce back, that sort of V-shaped recovery, and we didn't quite get it yet. And so what does that mean for the bulls and kind of where do we sit? So the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and just back us out to the weekly. Taking a look at the weekly here, you'll see that we have demand here in that 4,500. We pushed up over 4,800, pulled back, and then another week over 4,800, pulled back again. Okay, on the weekly perspective, we still do not have any sort of significant bearish confirmation. Any swing trade time frame, multi-day time frame, short positions are based on an assumption of confirmation. We don't have any confirmation yet. Most likely they're using that $4,800 supply as a reference level, which is fine. I mean, technically this would be one of the lower risk macro short entries if that's your perspective, but just keep in mind nothing's been proven yet on the weekly. We zoom in on the daily, same thing. We did see a nice multi-day push here up into that 4,800, big rejection day, and now we're forming an inside bar here as we close roughly in the middle of the range yesterday. So now we're forming the new futures candle. So here's where we're sitting at, right? The same trading ranges that applied yesterday are going to apply today, except now because we formed that inside bar, we need to be watching the high range of yesterday. So zooming in here, we're watching this 4720 supply. Over 47.20, we have room up to 47.40, and then of course from there back, essentially back to 47.85, or just to say 4,800, right? 47.20 is a big level to be watching. We do have supply on that 47.40. On the demand side, just the lows of today's price action of 46.62. That also correlates with being below the initial day of the dump there on the 5th. So as for right now, that's the low we're watching, below 46.62. Let me zoom out. The question is, where do we go if we break the lows of today's price action of that 46.62? Of course, we're going to confirm immediately to the 46.50, but the big picture perspective is this 4,600, 4620 level is roughly mid-channel, right? It's roughly mid-channel. You look at 4,500, you look at 4,800. We're sitting roughly right about in the center right here, right around that 46.50. That's not the significant demand. The significant demand was 47.20, and then the next significant demand is 45.30. So buying right now, if you are long right now, what you're betting is we're making a another higher low based off this 45, 25 area. We're making that higher low here over 46.50. That's what you're betting, and you're playing off that mid-channel support. If you're long and we break 46.50 and you hold, that is a big gamble to take because essentially we're in the air up until back to that 45.20s, right? Let's say 4500s, right? That is a big gamble to take. So tonight's price action is very important for the bulls. They need to hold that mid-channel 46.50. You could just say 46.62. Today's lows. That's what they need to hold. Today's lows. And if they hold that mid-channel, we have potential to confirm back over 47.20, which would give the bulls a chance to confirm back towards that 4,800, right? But the longer we just sit here and we don't get this, like look at all the times we tried to pop over, it failed here, tried to pop over, it failed here, tried here, failed, right? And same thing on the downside. We got soaked here in the 46.62, soaked there into the close. Now we're floating up after hours. If you're long here, the risk should be on that pivot low. There really isn't an edge. Possibly, could we rebound straight back to the 4,800? Yes, that can happen. The biggest case for the bulls, I think, is the fact that we didn't break down, and let's jump over to the VIX here. The VIX hasn't been able to get anywhere. The VIX is still sitting below that $20 mark, okay? We poked above 21 and it immediately got stuffed, and we're sitting here on 19. There is not extreme fear in the market yet, and that is a confidence-inspiring thing for the bulls. There is not extreme fear in the market yet. If we jump over at beta, the QQQ has been really weak. Let's look at Apple. A lot of names, most names, were not able to rally today. They tried to go red to green out of the gate, Most of them rejected and sold off into the close. We're bouncing up a little bit after hours as the ES regained some strength, but who knows if that'll hold or not. We saw lower lows into the close on Apple. We saw, let me pull up Tesla, higher lows here into the close on Tesla, but we were not able to rally to get that green. Let's check Amazon. Amazon. We had same thing, essentially the same situation as Tesla there. Let's look at AMD. AMD, one of the stronger names. Remember I said the semiconductors are strongest right now, AMD, NVIDIA. And as you can see, AMD's actually after hours is pushing the highs there. Let's see if NVIDIA looks similar. NVIDIA, the stronger looking chart, okay? It's pushing for that breakout over 285 after getting a huge downside confirm out of the gate. So there you got NVIDIA. So those are some of the names that kind of keep an eye on. Let's look at Microsoft. I don't think I pulled up Microsoft yet. Taking a glance at Microsoft, it did make higher lows, right, but not as close to the highs as AMD or NVIDIA. So if you're looking for the bull side perspective on beta, NVIDIA or AMD seems like the better bet given the price action. If we do see more downside confirmation, you're going to have to zoom out and look macro on beta names, which I'm talking about in my room. And I pointed out those levels this morning. So the biggest question is, will we get the gap up or not? And if we do, I expect AMD and NVIDIA to be among the best performing. The others, of course, will follow suit. Yeah, and that's pretty much all I got, guys. If you're interested in joining the chat room, there's information in the description box below, or my mentorship program. I'd love to have you and help you get you caught up on technical analysis and remembering how to develop that bot mentality, which is a trading mentality where you learn to eliminate your emotions so you can trade like a machine, guys. I'm out of here. Deuces.